Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. All right, if you're watching this video, you already know what the title is going to be. This is how to install the Blackvue dash camera into your Honda Civic Type R. All right, I'm sure this is going to apply for most of the 10th Gen Civics, but in this example, I'm using the Type R, so let's get started. All right, so things we're gonna need for this project. You're gonna need obviously a camera. I'm using the Blackvue. This is the DR590X. Now with this one, this is a 2-channel, which means I have not only a front camera, but a rear camera. All right, so I'm gonna start the front camera first. If you guys want to continue the video, you can watch all the way to the end, or you can skip forward when I do the final install, but the first part is just going to do the front camera, and then the second part is going to show how to route the cables for the rear camera. All right, so I ordered this from Black Box My Car. I'll also provide a link. I can give you 2 links. There's the Amazon one, and then there's the Black Box. I'm affiliates for both, so if you guys want to support the channel, this is probably the fastest or easiest way to support, because I do get a little commission back, okay? Also, with the Black Box, you get a 5% off discount code. Next thing you need is removal trim. I'll also link this in the description. This is vital for removing some of the trim pieces so you don't damage any parts, okay? You're going to need Hardwire kit. Which comes with a camera. If you buy the camera from Amazon, you'll need a separate Hardwire kit. If you order from Blackvue, you can check that box, okay? With the Hardwire kit means that instead of plugging into a 12-volt cigarette lighter, having the cable just run up to the camera, we can actually hardwire it to the fuse box, which means is when you turn the car on, the camera starts. We turn the car off, the camera stops, okay? This camera does have a parking feature, so when we wire it, we'll make sure that we'll choose a fuse that will always stay on. So when we have a built-in parking mode, which will record the car if it gets bumped in the parking lot, or someone trying to break in, it'll start recording it. We'll need fuse taps. So you'll need fuse taps. Make sure you get the appropriate ones that fit the Honda. There are different ones, so just make sure you get the right ones, okay? I'll link everything, the exact ones you need, in the description so we don't make a mistake. Also, you're gonna need fuses. So fuses are important because we're gonna add a fuse to the vehicle. All right, so let's get started in that. All right, so step 1, what you do, before we start mounting the camera and we start running cables through and everything else, let's make sure we have the appropriate fuse. We don't want to just start with going on this process. Let's find the fuse first, make sure we get the camera power on. From that point, we can start rounding cables. The cables part is fairly easy, at least for the front camera. The rear camera, I'm not sure about. I think I have an idea how I want it to go. It all depends on how much room I have and going down that direction. So we'll take a look at it, and we'll go from there. Now, the challenges is if you guys have a hatchback, the rear glass is going to open when you open the hatch. So routing the cables is going to be different than someone with a coupe or sedan, where their glass is fixed. If you have a coupe or sedan, it's going to be much easier for you because you can just route the wire up, stick the camera up into the glass, and about moving cords. So with this process, hatchbacks are going to have a little more of a challenge. All right. So I found the fuse box. You can see here all the fuses that I have. Now I just got to make sure that when I pull the fuse, I make sure I get the right one. I'm gonna choose one for accessories, one that's going to come on only when I turn the car on, and one that's always going to stay powered. All right, I'll let you guys know which one I choose. Also, there's a little bolt right here I can use for grounding. Let's open the camera, make sure we have everything we need. Obviously, it's got everything we need to have. And then here, open this part, we're gonna have, obviously we get a 32 gigabyte SD card that comes with it. If you decide to buy your own SD card, if you want to go to larger capacity, these cameras can accept up to a 256. If you decide to go to 256, make sure you choose the right one. You need a high endurance card. You can't just use any SD card. It has to be high endurance because of the fact that these cards overwrite and overwrite. Here's our cable to route all the way to the back. Here is our hardwiring kit. And then if those who don't want to hardwire, here's 12 volt. Now there are pros and cons to each one. Like I said, we can run this. It's just, you're always gonna see a cable coming around the car somewhere. This is a way we can just make it more of a seamless way. Then also too, in the back here, you do get some of these little cable clips. So these help with organization of routing cables. For example, you run it through the top of the windshield to make sure the cable doesn't fall down. We can do it that way. All right, so step one, I'm gonna find an appropriate cord, make sure that our fuse, make sure that it comes on and it records when the car's off, blah, blah, blah. We talked about it already. Let's go. Those who are wondering where's the fuse diagram is right there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna choose a fuse, 2 fuses, because like I said, we need one that is always powered and we need one that's only powered when the car is on. So we have this one here where it's just the number 1 accessory. That would be a good one for just only when the car starts on. But we need one that is constant. And let's try, you don't want to pick anything vital. You don't want to choose anything that's, like I said, I don't want to run off my airbag fuse because you don't want anything to happen. I'm not saying that it's when you do an add a fuse, it's happening. I just don't want to mess with that fuse. Power window, of course that doesn't work when the car is off. Door locks. There's also a rear accessory socket. There's a lot of different options. You can, this doesn't have to be exactly by the book. Like I said, there's accessory, key lock. There's some optional fuses not used. There's, all right. So here we go. I did my cables. This is accessory. This is like, could be a power windows or something. And then battery, this always runs with the battery. So this would be probably something with the door locks, okay? So I'm gonna pull this off. There we go. It's already pre-stripped for you. And then we have a ground. This is all we need for powering. So all I'm going to do is plug these in here. On these add a fuse, I remember I took those 2 fuses out. The existing fuse comes out. It's going to go right in here, like so. Goes on the bottom. So remember, existing fuse here, if you hold it this way with the prongs down, lock right in there. All right, now we just add a different fuse. These are my low profile fuses. And what I'm gonna do is just add another one. Okay. Now that I've added this, now at this point I can connect, and what I'm doing is adding the wire. There's nothing back in here other than a port. I'm just going to plug it in. And I'm going to crimp it down really well. So I'm just going to fold it over itself like that here. You can see that. Come on, focus, focus. And then I'm just gonna push it through here. Then I'm gonna get some needle nose pliers and really just clamp that down while I'm holding it in place. Okay. So now I crimped it. This wire's in place. Do the same thing with the battery. Now the good thing is this is automatically done, right? This is, once this is done, it's done. You can't reverse it. But if you need to switch fuses, you can always change fuses around. So don't think of it as a permanent thing. You can fix it if you choose a fuse you don't like. Okay. All right, so at this point, we got our cables connected. All we have to do is just take the bolt off for the ground. We'll need a 10, probably, I'm gonna say, just guessing, a 10mm socket for the ground, and then we should be able to plug the camera in and make sure it works. Okay, our ground bolt, it's gonna choose this one right there. This isn't gonna be completely loose. This is an open end connection. So I just make it loose enough that I can slide this in. And retighten. Okay, so we get that connected. Just plug these fuses back in to the appropriate slots. Now we're going to plug this camera in and we'll see if the power's on. Turn the car on. And if I shut it off, it should parking mode on. So yeah, it works appropriately. I put the ACC fuse where the ACC is, and then I use the battery fuse. I use the rear ACC socket. So basically I use fuse number 20 for the battery and fuse number 1 for the accessory. All right, next thing is you want to remove this panel. Actually, you get access to this side panel. So you're going to grab under here, you're going to give this a little tug. Removal. Be careful, this harness for your traction control and your safety Honda sensing stuff is going to be plugged in here. You can just let that hang there for now. You have 2 screws you need to remove, one here and one down here. So I'm going to remove these screws. Once that's removed, you can just remove this piece, those 2 screws, pop that out. Now you route your wiring up through here, and what we're gonna do is route the A-pillar, come across through to the windshield. Okay, So now what I'm going to do is going to run the cord, kind of a practice run. I can always pull the slack out, but I'm going to run the cord across up top. Had to take a small break, had to run out, and my wife and I had an appointment, so he might notice my shirt's changed a little bit, but run this, tuck this in, and it doesn't require a lot. You just tuck it in. That's it. And this is where that trim tool comes in handy, because I could just use this to push that wire up across the top. And I'm gonna make sure I just have enough to come down to where I think the camera is going to end up. I'm gonna put the camera actually right here in the middle. So it's just like the X5. I need a screwdriver. Okay. Run the cord down. You want to go behind, not in front of the airbag, but if you can avoid it. Honestly, don't think it matters too much, because this airbag comes out, it's just going to sever the cord. It doesn't matter how you do it. But what you want to do is pull this off, and you want to route the cord in behind this and behind here. And once you see it done, you'll see what I'm talking about. I tucked it in, go around the airbag, and back across. Okay, so right there, that way you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Put the cord, here's the cord here, tucked it in back here, right behind the airbag, come across the top, and then I'm just put this back on. So one thing I do here is I put some tape on here. I do a test fit. So without taking the tape all the way off, and this is so I can make sure that I can, pull it off and on if I need it without having the full tape fully sticking, and I position it that way. Then once I know I'm in position, I'll remove the tape and go from there. Now if I need to peel it off, I can just do like that. It comes right off. And that's where I wanted to stick it. I ran my cord there to know that's where I needed it to go. I'll put it up here lightly, just to make sure that it is before I fully press on the camera. So see how it looks from the outside, make sure it's not crooked, have it centered, and exactly where I want it. I thought about putting it up here in a dot matrix, but the camera is so low profile, even if it was up on a dot matrix, it would be pretty much, I think it would be hitting the field of vision would be in the way. Let's see if I'm gonna put it up there. I think it'll be catching a little bit of that. to be honest with you. This is not too bad. If I wanted low profile, but it just seems off. I think me personally, I want people to notice that there's a camera there. I don't want it to look like, I don't want to hide it, because people see there's a camera, they may think twice per messing with the car, you know, or if they hit the car, they may leave a note because they see that they're being recorded. All right, everyone, here is part 2. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run the line all the way across to the back. It's gonna continue the back, and we're going to show everything. So if you just want to do the front camera now, you're all done. I can show you what wiring looks like. And you can see here, I have it just going up across the top here. I tucked it in through the headliner, behind the A-pillar, down all the way down here. As it comes through here, I had to pop these panels off. Like I said, I've already shown this already, but let you guys know what fuses I go into. So we'll go from there. All right. So like I said, all the way down here, hope you guys can see. But our next plan is to go across the top. All right, so let's do it. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm just getting my cord straightened out. Now it's okay to have extra cord in the back. That's perfectly fine. But I'm just gonna do a pretend here. And all I'm doing is making sure I have enough up top. Okay, like I said, this doesn't require anything special, just a quick tuck. Let's pop this out again. Just gonna redo this part. And like I said, you have your cords. Now, some people are concerned about crossing the cord, you know, front, which I understand. I totally get it, guys. I know that there's an airbag here, and nobody wants to run a cord, obviously across the airbag. But if you do it this way, I'll show you. This way of doing it. So what we'll do is we'll run the cord down behind the airbag, so people don't get concerned, because I've had people leave comments during the past, my last installs. We'll run it, hard to do this one hand, down behind the airbag, come down to where it folds in the bottom, come back up again, and go that way. Sometimes you can just use a tool to help. Now you get to here, just keep going all the way down. And you can literally just run the cord tuck it in. Right there. It's like one hidden right there. So everything's hidden. Okay, so I pulled a little bit of this back. I'm pushing the cord back here, and I think I could grab it with my finger to pull it through. Okay. I'm just gonna pull all this cord. This just pulls back. You can tuck that back in. Just be careful. It is some type of cardboard, but I can push this back in later. All right. Now what I'm gonna do, I need to work this cord through this right here to come out this side. Reason why, because it has to close through the hatch. Once I get it here, I can pop this off, which I think I could probably pull if it's the same as the X5. Okay. Okay, this comes off just like that. Now I can, oh, this actually works better. All right, this has literally been the hardest part, is getting this cord in here. The hard part is just, it's got this 90-degree elbow. So I got the cord up here. I just can't get it to make that turn. If you have a fishing kit, I think it'll be better. So just something to think about. I can pull this through now. I'm just gonna try to stick a wire through this one. Attach this wire, pull it through, then I can have it go out here. All right, attach the wire. I should be able to pull through, and it should come out. Well, got it close. Might have to redo this again. Okay, looks like I got it on this side, which is not a big deal. Now I could put the camera up here and have the cable. So now I'm gonna do, I'm just pull the extra slack through, and then I'll just hide everything and make sure to get to go. Okay, push everything back. I'll put my rubber grommets back in here, like so. All right, rubber grommets are put back here. I can get rid of this wire. This is the one I made. I can then pop this back in place. That's good to go. Put in some extra wire back in here. Mount my camera. So I'm doing it now. This part is pretty much self-explanatory. So you guys can figure that part out as far as how you want to place your camera. Some people want it on the glass and things. Once I get the camera placed where I want it, get it plugged in, I'll replace it with this piece back, and then that should be it. So. That's it. I think I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna stick mine here instead of it on the glass, because that window tint, if I put it on the window tint, reposition it, I could risk pulling and lifting that film right off. All right, so I'm trying to run this cable down behind the airbag, and honestly, I'm just gonna run it across. It's much easier, cleaner, run it across here. In the event of the deployment, yeah, it's gonna probably tear the cable, destroy everything, but if you think about it, everything else in here is also gonna be destroyed. So I'm really not doing any favors by protecting the cable, because this headliner, airbag's gonna burst all through this, so it doesn't really matter at this point anyway. So that's what I'm gonna do. There's no point fiddling around with it. I'm just gonna run it across back to here.